Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Social Circus. I'm your host, Sarah Thompson, and this week I am joined by Amanda from AJ Harrington Photography. AJ is a product, website, and branding photographer that not only captures light, bright images for clients, but also teaches them how to do it themselves. She encourages brands to bring in the professionals for images that matter, those major decision-making touchpoints, and gives them the tools they need to create authentic, relationship-building social media content themselves. She has been photographing brands professionally for more than 5 years, and she doesn't want to think about how many photos that works out to be, and has taught over 100 businesses the art of phone photography. When she's not in the studio or at the workshop or huddled over her computer editing, she's giving her daughter tickle cuddles, trying to keep the plant babies alive and drinking iced coffees. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Now, for all of our audience, if you are wondering what some of AJ's work looks like, just go and look at any of my socials or websites because she takes so many photos of me.
I appreciate you coming back every headshot day you book in, which is lovely.
I know. Well, this is the high demand for imagery that we have for social media, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's a hungry monster. All right. So I always ask my guests, the first question is, tell us a little bit about why you started your business or your journey into being an entrepreneur.
It came from my personal situation, I guess. And I think this happens a lot for mums. Mm-hmm. So I have a degree in Exploration Geophysics, and I worked in the oil and gas industry for 10 years before I had my daughter.
Of course you do. That wasn't in your bio. So can you just say what that was? Exploration
Geophysics. So
I don't even know what that is.
So we would so the company that I worked for would go out and try and find where to drill for oil, I guess, mm-hmm. And would sell the data to the oil companies. But anyway, back to my story. So I so after I had my daughter, my marriage broke up not long afterwards, and I moved back home to Mandurah with my parents. And I was like, what am I going to do now? I don't want to, as a single mum, travel to the city all the time to work in the industry again. Mm-hmm. I'd kind of fallen out of love with it anyway. And I was sitting on the back deck of a friend, and she said, why don't you do product photography? And I'm like, people would actually pay me to take photos for their business. And she's like, yeah. And so she mentioned that because I had done a phone photo a day for 3 years. So every single day I would post a photo to Instagram that I had taken on my phone. So I'd kind of built a brand through that anyway, through my own style, my own visual style through that mm-hmm. kind of project. And she's like, take that and make it professional. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people would actually do that. And I joined an online course to how to make a business, how to build a business, and kind of started from there. And yeah, here I am.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm there's so much I want to unpack there, but I'm in awe of the fact that you uploaded a photo every day for 3 years. Can I just say that is some serious consistency.
It was when my daughter wasn't at school and I wasn't working, or she was at kindy part-time. So I had time in my day to think about that. So since I started the business, I don't do that as often. I still kind of check in with that group that I was a part of, and over the school holidays I might pick it up for a couple of weeks, but otherwise there's just too much other photo stuff in my brain that I don't do that anymore. But I had a lot more time then. So
definitely, I do remember those days are quite fun. So that definitely gave you that opportunity, like you said, to hone your style, because I think you have, you know that I love your style. You have a very beautiful way of photographing, particularly us women. So, and was that something that you obviously trained in, but you also obviously had a great natural eye?
I would like to think so. So I kind of have always been creative on that side, outside of the very science-based job that I had. Mm-hmm. And I just naturally kind of can just see things. I know how to pack all your boxes into your shopping bag so that they fit. I just have that really good spatial awareness. So that's kind of where the composition and stuff happened. Mm-hmm. And then I have done my diploma in photography, but it's mainly just working with women and understanding what their insecurities are and how they want to be want to look at, how what they want. That has helped with that. I didn't want to start photographing people when I first started my business. It was going to be products only, but then product-based businesses would say, can you take photos of me too? And I was like, yeah, okay. And that kind of developed as I went along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so you started in products and then moved to people. And it's funny because I know you as such a people photographer, and I've seen your talent in both spaces. But let's talk about particularly women and being photographed and all of those things.
Yes.
We don't have all day, but we could definitely talk all day about this. So this is a thing that I know I struggle with myself in terms of, do I like how I look? Do I want to be seen the way I look right now? And is that something you find we obviously procrastinate a lot on, don't we?
Yes. And it's something that particularly product-based businesses have a hard time kind of overcoming. They like to hide behind their products and their brand, but then knowing as a service-based business, it's obviously very important that you get your face out there, and I do think that that's a big hurdle to kind of overcome, to put yourself out there. But I think stories, Instagram stories has been a big in helping giving people kind of the used to seeing themselves, I guess.
Yes.
Because we've had to get on camera and talk. So they're used to having their face being seen by others earlier than they book a brand photography. I think it's kind of this natural progression. They do nothing, and they're like, oh, I'll start talking on some stories, and then and then it comes to, okay, I'm ready to put my face out there now because I'm used to seeing myself. But it's a big thing.
It is. And I know for me, I've definitely been guilty in years gone by of being very hidden inside my business. So I might have one shot and that I use sparingly. And now I have to say it would be very rare that you wouldn't see me either live in video or using a photo from a shoot every day on my socials.
And have you seen that that's helped your business?
It's hugely transformative in so many ways, and I know that when we have photo shoots done, we look our best selves. So our hair looks beautiful and our makeup looks beautiful. So when people meet me, I often don't look like that, but people feel so connected to you.
Yes.
And people have such, like I'm not even kidding when I say when I go to networking events, it's like I'm a little pseudo celebrity.
Yeah, it is. People know you. And still I get stopped. I work in a camera shop as well, part-time. And people come in and go, oh, it's AJ, I know you from here still. This person knows you. And because, they're not seeing me in my business role, but they recognize my face. And so, you have that connection with the people.
It's so good. And look, it can only be described as transformative for my business because I just keep showing up. And it's something I've really had to work through in my own mind. And I tell people this, and it's such sage advice, and I wasn't great at taking it. It's like, if you genuinely dislike how you look, you have to do something about it. Otherwise, go and have a photo taken.
And we are our own worst critics. Like, I think that every person that I have photographed is beautiful. We are just, the light that comes out of people when you can take a photo, when they're, the start of the session is always hard, right?
Yes.
It's just so awkward being in front of the camera. I've done it myself. I understand that. But then as it gets going and they get a few glimpses of the back of the camera and they go, oh yeah, that's okay. I'm looking all right. And they get into it. And by the end, they're like, oh yeah, let's try this and let's try this. And that's, that's a nice, I guess, byproduct of, for me, seeing that kind of progression. And that confidence kind of come out.
And it's really interesting that you say that, because I think one of the things that we often avoid is because we don't like our full self. Like, we might like our face, but we don't like our mummy tummy, or I'm too short, or I'm too something. Yeah. And I guess one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, if I genuinely dislike A or B about my body, I'm certain you have techniques that can work with that. Absolutely. Like,
one of them is, like, if you don't like your mum tum, and you're conscious about sitting down, then having your laptop on your knees or carrying a book in your hands can kind of just give you that bit of confidence that that's not on show. and also help you relax because you've got something to do, like having something in your hand kind of helps you that, and then you stop thinking about it. And quite often I'll say like straighten up your back, and just little posing things like that can really change. Drop your shoulders, and so you go from being like really hunched over to being tall and long and lean, and that really makes a difference.
I know. And I have to say, one of the photo shoots I had with you earlier this year, you had me standing up, which I always feel awkward about because I'm super short in real life. And those photos are some of the most favorite photos I've ever had taken. And you've got me holding a book in front of, like a little notebook in front of my tummy. And I just love it because I feel like the bits that I don't like about myself aren't on show.
That's wonderful to hear.
So
I'd like you to love all of yourself, but I love that you can, that you see that and you go, I just love myself for that photo, for that, for what I can see in that photo, for who I am in that photo.
And I think we definitely do need to go on a journey of self-love, but it's also nice to kind of feel like this is how I look right now, and that's my best self. Like I feel like you captured my best self.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And that's a hard thing to kind of have that acceptance around. So I'm guessing that, and I probably know the answers, but I want to talk about it. If women are really, really uncomfortable, do you have conversations before their shoots with them?
I actually think that people have kind of decided to do it before they talk to me, and it very rarely comes up. They might flippantly say, "Oh, I don't like this. Get rid of my double chin." And I'll say, I will always make sure that you look your best, and I'm not going to try and deliberately take an unflattering photo of you. And I haven't found that I've really had to coach someone into taking photos.
Oh wow. So they've already worked through that by the time they get to you.
Get to me, yeah. So I have a like a discovery call that I usually get on Zoom so we can see each other. That's one, another way of putting your face on your business that's, important, so that they build that connection. And I find that, I don't know whether that just that moment makes them trust, that that's going to be okay. But I really haven't had to coach someone through that.
And that's so lovely to hear. And in terms of I know that people often feel like I genuinely, like we were just talking, one of my girlfriends is booked in with you and she was heavily pregnant. That's why she didn't have her photos taken, which is a genuine reason not to have them done. Not 3 years later when she's still worrying about her mummy tummy, but there are genuine reasons. But often if we are thinking, I need to, maybe you're on a weight loss journey or something like that, I still sort of say to people, go and join a headshot day, because you still need photos and people still need to see you right now. So those are something that's becoming more common, and I know you do them really regularly. I'm always there for that. Talk about why would we do that rather than a big branding shoot?
One, it takes the pressure off it just being you. So like a headshot day, mini sessions are, compact. So rather than booking 3 hours with me where, there's a lot to kind of get your head around, different outfits, blah, blah, blah. It's just a 30 minutes sharp jump in and get it done. So the focus isn't completely on you, in terms of all of the prep, which is nice. And also, so my headshot days include makeup, which is always a bit of a confidence booster.
Definitely.
And I also organize faces, so there's none of that to organize as well. So there's not the photo shoot, plus you have to pay for the makeup, and plus you have to find a location that you want and source and pay for that. That's kind of all done for you. And that's what I love about them, and I do find that I get regular people like yourself who always just want updated photos, or it's usually the first photo shoot that people have done. And they're like, this is, I only need a few pictures. I'm not ready to book a full branding shoot yet. And it's a way that they can get a couple of photos that they need, see if they like me, if they like the process, and then book, and sometimes book a bigger shoot later down the track if they need to.
Yeah. And I love, like you said, I love the mini shoot, the kind of headshot days, because I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm not a model. And so after about 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm done now. Don't make me smile again. And so I've done full branded shoots and I'm just like, I'm not into this. I'm had enough
Yeah.
now.
It takes it out of you. So I won't photograph for longer than 3 hours. I don't know how wedding photographers do it. Like, I am so done by end of 3 hours, and I find usually the client is as well. You know, it's just, you know, it can be tiring. And so that's when kind of working out, planning beforehand and having variety. So going to different locations, you know, having some different outfits planned and stuff that can help break it up so you're not on for the whole 3 hours.
Yeah, I love it. So if I'm coming to have my first photo shoot, what's some of your advice in terms of helping me feel like I don't look so awkward?
Do some like research, I guess. Get on Pinterest and have a look at some poses that you really like. And I try not to like replicate them exactly, because we all move our bodies differently, and we all sit and feel comfortable. So we usually kind of use those things as inspiration, and then I go, all right, let's set this up. You sit down, get comfy. I'll move you if you need to. But having kind of a little bit of understanding of what you want helps you feel more comfortable when you're there. I think the scariest thing is walking into something going, I don't know what I want, and I don't know how to stand, and I don't know how I'm going to use these pictures, and why am I here? You know, you kind of need to have all of that purpose beforehand so you can go, yep, I'm ready. This is what I want, where I'm going to use the pictures. You know, I want some pointing ones, or I definitely don't want those kind of things. And you have an idea, and that kind of makes the session flow a little bit easier. So getting on Pinterest and having a look around at poses that you like and that you think, you know, are going to be comfortable for you. And you can see that a lot of the branding photography is comfortable stuff. Like, you're not posed with your hands on your hips and your hip cocked out, and, you know, your like moody look on your face. It's kind of just you doing your stuff, which is nice.
And I really love the evolution of photography. I really love the way in which we shoot people now. And when I go to people's websites, I'm like, they just look beautiful, people. You know what I mean? Like, we look like we're doing our thing, and we look like we're having fun, and we look like we're comfortable. Whereas, and I haven't worked in corporate for a long time, but being in marketing, I used to be involved in a lot of the corporate comms and marketing actual headshots. Horrific, aren't they?
Yeah. They're very stoic and, you know, show some personality.
I have to say, I did work once for a medical research company in comms, and I had to organise the annual report, and those people, like, honestly, the photographer, he just needed to be canonised at the end. It was such hard work.
Oh, no.
Nobody wanted to be in front of that camera, and he was doing had to do headshots, and they had to all be the same. And they're just like, they're so boring. And it's like, put people in their space and doing their thing as scientists, and they're like, suddenly, like, you can see people visibly relax. And I think that's one of the things I love about headshots now is, like you say, like most of us small business owners, we often work at home, and so we don't have to be in these settings that look ridiculous like corporate settings. You hire beautiful homes and beautiful spaces, which is what it looks like what we would be doing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's so exciting. So let's talk in terms of outfits. Is that something, because I know that I tend to buy a few new things, but I always try and wear something that I know I love and feel good in as well.
Yep. Comfort will always be my number one recommendation for you. If you are like, if your pants are too tight and then you're worried about a muffin top, then you aren't going to be relaxed in your photo. You're just always going to be worried about that. So I recommend, having clothes that you feel good in. You know, if they're in your brand colors, bonus. You know, that's not for me the number one. I think you need to be comfortable in them.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that I've dabbled with is when I've been coming for a photo shoot with you, I'm like a jeans denim girl all day, every day. I'm wearing them now. And one of my really close friends said, hey, do you want to borrow some of my dresses? And I was like, we're the same size. And I got home and tried some on. I was like, I just looked in the mirror. I was like, I don't know who this is. Felt so outside of myself, and I felt so uncomfortable. And my husband goes, what are those dresses? Where did you get them? They were beautiful dresses. My girlfriend looks beautiful in them, but they just look so wrong. And I could have gone to that shoot thinking, I need to have all this variety of how I look, and it just didn't look like me.
Yes. Yep. So it's really important that you're comfortable.
And wearing the stuff that looks like you. And I always say to people, wear things that people will see you in. Because if I showed up in a dress and then that was all over my website, and every time you met me, like, well, she only wears jeans. Where's her dresses? Like, you have to try and find your style, don't you?
You do. Yep, for sure.
Oh, look, any final words of wisdom for us scaredy Sally's hiding behind hiding behind our products or hiding behind a couple of shots, thoughts on how we can get out there a bit more?
I think you just gotta do it. Like, I think once you do one, if you go in there with a purpose, you know where you're going to use the photos, and you know what kind of messages that you want to give to your audience. If you go in with a purpose, you are going to get photos that you love and that you use, and have a chat with don't book just one photographer because someone recommended them, right? Get on their discovery calls. Everybody should have a chat with you and find the person who makes you feel comfortable, because then you're going to build up that rapport and you're not going to feel weird when you're having your photo shoots. And I think that that's really important.
Oh, such good advice. Oh, yeah. Look, AJ, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your wisdom and kind words for all of us who are probably sitting at home going, all right, I need to go and do it now. So for all of my listeners, AJ's contact details will be in the show notes. You can go and check out her portfolio. As I mentioned, if you're here in Perth, she does regular headshot days for us people that just need lots of little photos rather than being the center of the kind of the shoot at all times. So AJ, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I'm sure that all my listeners appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And we are all beautiful. We really are.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. So thank you, everyone. And I will catch you the same time next week on The Social Circus. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.